Hello guys, I'm busy admitting people into the meeting, I'm sorry. Can you all hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Peter.
Good morning, everyone.
Hello, Charlie, how are you doing?
Good, thanks. Just saying hello. Or good afternoon to a portion of you, I guess.
See here, I'm trying to get my settings right as well. See if I can do that. Okay. So, I can see that we have some people who are more professional on Zoom meeting than I am. Both Ulf and Gerhard look very good with your backgrounds.
Oh, thank you. The only thing I need the headsets because, yeah, otherwise I can't hear you so clearly.
No worries, no worries. Okay, guys, I don't know if Sarah and Isabel are with us. Can only see your pictures.
I am. Isabel here.
I'm in Zoom when we run out. So this is the one they have made icons. Okay. If you want anything else, you have to make it. What is your taste? I like your idea to do it that way. So this is good. Okay. And let's go. There we go. More people coming in. There we go. Shall we start a little bit since we are a few minutes late? I will keep on admitting people when they show up. Okay, hello everybody. A few of you know me. My name is Peter Redrin. I have been working for, I was actually trying to count it out the other day, 26 years I've been working with sales, preferably business to business sales. And I've been trying to help companies as a consultant for many, many years. I built up a quite large consultant company around sales coaching and sales training and sales strategies in Scandinavia. I had to close that company in 2009 because of the recession. And I've been doing other things since then, using my sales knowledge and my sales experience to build my own companies instead. And now I'm back with a company called Matrix Performance Group, which is a company that helps companies to make people perform better, preferably in sales. We work a lot with sales oriented problems and helping companies to solve them, but it can also be other performance related issues with staff. So we all know wherever there's people involved, there's something called performance, and it can be good, medium, or bad. So when everybody thinks it's a bit bad, they have a tendency to contact me. Anyway, so that's me. And then how do you want to do this? Shall we just make a quick name and round a little bit who are in this meeting? And if you have something in particular that you like to discuss today, because I can babble away about sales until we die, but maybe some people come to this meeting with a few questions or something they would like to debate in particular. Klaus, do you want to start?
Yeah, I will start. Okay, my name is Klaus Feld. I'm in Mallorca, and I'm a consultant for golf management. This since more or less now 15 years. I'm a specialist in marketing and strategy, and I'm running in the moment the World Golf and Business Club. That's it, I think.
Yeah. Do you have any question in sales that you like to put on the table today?
Let's wait. My business is more or less business to business, because we are looking for two target group. The one is the business club management and the other the golf club management in the top 5% of the market in the world.
So new acquisition
that is a face-to-face business and the face-to-face sales. And one target group we already have, because we have a lot of connections there since years. And the second business club is not as strong, so there is maybe help needed.
So it's all about signing up new members.
Yeah.
Okay. Charlie.
Good morning, Charlie Code. I lead a consulting company that I set up 8 years ago that focuses on leadership and organizational culture. We consult to typically large international organizations with complex structures and organizations themselves that need help. We're a B2B organization naturally, and our growth is entirely dependent upon our ability to form relationships, credibility, and long-term partnerships with large businesses, which in turn depends upon my ability to attract capable consultants who can have a sales element to their role. And what I find is those creatures are quite difficult to find. And it's remarkable how many people have preconceived ideas and therefore mental blocks about actually finding new clients and converting new work. A real block around sales, around in the B2B, particularly in the consulting area. So that's my particular interest in this.
So topic on the table, acquiring new clients.
Yeah, well, you could probably, if you want to simplify it that much, then we can skip the intros, because that's probably everybody's problem.
No, it can actually be other things. You know, you'll be surprised, Charlie. I actually have a client for the moment who don't want one new client. They want to increase their performance of their staff. They have 120 people meeting the clients, and they want them to understand that they have to tell them about all the other services that the client hasn't got a clue about that they have. You know, so it can be different things. Gerhard. No, we don't hear you.
Yeah. Sorry, I was still muted.
Now we hear you.
Yeah, similar role like Charlie. We are UB Academy. We are a consulting firm focusing on professional trainings for management levels in different fields. International technology production companies is our target indeed. We are very good, I would say, in converting opportunities into wins. Where we are struggling in the sense of needing some ideas is how to generate new leads, new opportunities, finding new clients. So pretty similar to what Charlie's expectation would be. So looking forward to learning more about that.
You two guys are in the consultant business, and I mean, of course, the sales process is a little bit longer and a little bit more delicate than maybe for Klaus, who wants to sign up a new member to his golf club. Do you feel that the clients you meet, they are still buying services? It's not like they have put the brakes on because of COVID and Brexit and things like that. So if you just get a good client who has an interest and has a problem to solve, they actually buy the service. You feel that?
Specifically regarding COVID, the format has changed. The need is still there. The need for customers to learn, whether it's new skills or new behavioral elements, is still there. It's just the format has changed. And again, I believe we are quite good in having changed the format. Again, what I would be curious to learn, forms of telling the world what we have to offer.
Yeah, okay. Ulf?
Yes, good morning, everybody, from a snowy Stockholm. I am actually the newest ambassador for the GBO network, and I just came out of COVID, so I'm happy to be alive almost.
Wow. And we are happy to have you here then.
Thank you. So I work, of course, with recruiting new members to the network, but I'm also working with startups and business development consultancy. So it is a struggle right now to get people the attention level. I mean, everybody are very busy and listening to other gurus around on the internet. So it's really a matter of being, really, really good at what you're doing. So,
but please contact me privately. I think most of you know that I was the guy who started the GBO from the beginning, and I can tell you there was quite difficulties selling memberships in the beginning when we didn't have any members.
Yeah, of course.
that was an interesting trick.
It gets better over time.
The whole product is other people, and we were 7 members in Mallorca. Then it was a bit difficult.
Yeah, I understand that. So
But
I'm looking forward to be around you guys and learn a lot.
Miroslav, you have joined the meeting. Do you have something to say, or are you just listening in?
Hello, guys.
There you are. We cannot hear you. Okay, Sarah, while Miroslav is fixing his sound, do you have something to say to the group before we start debating?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah. I'm from Sweden, but I'm based in Madrid right now. I have a Colombian company. We have two services. One is that we have a PEO organization, so we help companies to establish in Colombia. And the second is that we have consultants, and for the consultants, it's mostly Europe, and the PEO services is mostly US. And so far, COVID has actually been good to us. We have more sales now, but I mean, we still want to sell even more, so that's why I'm here.
Is there anything in particular you are having on your table that we can put into the debate of today?
No, I just want some ideas how you work. We have some methods for how we work with the consulting business and for the PEO services. Those are very different businesses, so we approach that differently. So I want to learn and exchange knowledge.
Okay, Isabel, you have something to say to the group?
So, hi, my name is Isabel Akervik, and I'm also based out of Stockholm, Sweden. I'm working at Cito, or I'm a part of Cito, which is a company providing a SaaS solution for retailers. So we do point of sale and unified commerce. So, of course, we've been suffering since we've been targeting the retail industry, and those are the ones that have been suffering a lot. But what we see is like, since the digital transformation has really increased during the last half of the year, at least, we see more and more retailers coming back and see that they need to do what we can provide to them. So we started to look pretty positive at the end, at least.
Cool. And from your side, is there anything in particular you're looking for from this debate?
So no, from this debate, it's more like listening and see if you can get any ideas or something and how to move forward. So it's just like knowledge sharing. Unfortunately, I won't be able to attend the entire meeting because I have another one, but I will listen in and come up with my thoughts and idea at the time I have time to.
Okay. And then we have Nikri. Yeah, on with the mic.
Hello, everyone. I think I'm the youngest member here. I'm the new member of GBO. So I'm an architect turned entrepreneur. So actually, I've been doing a few architecture projects in India. I'm basically from India, now based in Italy, Milan, Italy. So I've been doing few collaboration projects in Italy as well. But since 2019, where I started my company, so that has been like 2020 has been devastating, but I think it's a positive side also. It has also a positive side, since like from the fast track we have come to a slow normal track where we can think more ideas how to go on with the company. So with that we have been also working on few future tech ideas. We have participated in two startup pitch competitions. So with the other side, just to generate revenue, we have been working on this luxury furniture e-commerce and the granite export from Italy, marbles and granite. Since you know Italian marbles are famous all around the world, so we export to Dubai and India. So this is it. So with this meeting, I thought how we could like I could learn from the professionals and the experience of how things can go on during this situation, because since you guys would have experienced the 2008 uh, fallback also, so I thought this could be a opportunity to learn something how things can go on, so that I can get few ideas to go on with it. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, great. Okay, so we have 40 minutes before this meeting is over. So I have to excuse myself from the beginning because my normal position is that I have either a 4 or an 8-hour workshop as a first meeting with a client to try to dig out how everything is working and how it can work better and things like that. So sitting like this and throwing away generalizing advice is not so easy. Everybody have their situation, everybody have their sales process, everybody have their existing clients to work with and so on. And the situation is different for many people, but I would like to say a few things that is 100% true for everybody, and then we can debate those things a little bit. Do you like that as an idea?
Yes.
When it comes to acquisition of new clients, in my mind, it doesn't really matter if you are a private company selling B2C to consumers, or if you're selling some service to managers of companies in the B2B world. We have exactly the same starting point. We have to get attention from a client. Maybe the B2C company is even worse out of that perspective, because the channels where B2C clients believe that they can get attention from new clients to contact them are so many. It's incredible. I mean, radio, TV, internet, stores, shop windows, what music you're playing outside. I mean, it's like an array of things that can be dealt with if you want to get attention from consumers. I think that's the reason why I've been focusing a lot of my business career on B2B, because it's a little bit easier to figure out how to get attention from the clients, because you know they won't respond to TV commercials or radio and stuff like that, so there's no point. It's better to get the personal contact and nothing else. If you're a business to consumer company who wants to sell 10,000 units of an online product, for instance, you don't want to talk to anybody. You just want them to go to the web page and click the button and buy. So that's another process. But if we focus on the process where we actually want to speak to our clients, either through phone, video, or a meeting, we know that if we can't get any of those three things to happen, we are screwed. There's not going to be any new clients. If we focus on that process for a second, then what I see out there when I go to companies and they tell me they have some kind of issues with acquiring new clients, I see some mistakes in the way they think as the basic of their problems, actually. Because if we talk in theory, practically it can be difficult to achieve, but in theory, any company who want to sell anything should have a database of all their potential clients so they can contact them, correct? Just envision that. I am selling consultant service to CEOs. Okay, let's create a database with the telephone number and email to every CEO in the world, and let's shoot it out, right? That would be great if we could do that. Normally you cannot do that. So what we can do though is try to come as close vicinity as possible to do that. Because what I see many companies doing, they are trying to contact a little fraction of their potential market, and then they spend a lot of time on that fraction of their market to try to make those clients interested. I never thought that was a good idea. In the best of worlds, we only work with incoming requests, right? Somebody sends an email, phones you, or come knocking at your door and say, hey guys, I heard you're doing this. I'm interested in buying your service or your product. Can you help me? I mean, that's, in theory, we should only, if a salesperson spends his whole or her whole day only talking to clients like that, for sure that person will sell more than a person who, for instance, will start the day by checking and Googling and searching and trying to figure out who to call. The efficiency difference between these two people are, of course, enormous. Enormous. And here is where people go wrong a little bit. They employ salespeople, or even worse, they put their own expensive time on trying to figure out who to call and cold call them, or try to figure out a way to make a client interested because I'm interested of them, but they don't know about me. So now I'm going to make a lot of activities to try to get this client's attention. I'm trying to call them. I'm trying to get hold of managers there. I'm trying to book a meeting. Maybe I even think about some costly marketing idea, like going to a fair of this kind of business clients that are my clients and put up a stand for thousands of euros and, just to get somebody to speak to. This is not efficient, guys. Every client I've been working with the last 20 years, I've been telling them, stop doing that. It's a waste of money, a waste of time, and you're only trying to reach a little fraction of your market. Wouldn't it be better to ask all your potential clients who wants to speak to you and only talk to the ones who answers? That is the basis of everything that me and my company Matrix Performance Group are trying to teach our clients. Don't do anything else. It's better. And how can we do that then? Well, the last years there's been growing up business-to-business platforms, luckily. Before that, we were screwed on this kind of point. We had to make some expensive magazine ads or TV commercials or cold calling, and there was nothing else. And then came Facebook. Facebook is not for business-to-business, it's for consumers. And then came LinkedIn. Okay, everybody's not on LinkedIn, but quite a lot of people are on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn has been the basis of all the lead generation that we are doing in my companies and that we are teaching our client companies to be very smart at using. Now, when it comes to social media, people think they are supposed to post a lot and try to, through posting, get attention from people. Wrong. This is not what you do. That is wasting time and money again. What you do is that you become very good at using the marketing platforms they have. And for instance, there is a function called send people a message. We know it as InMail. You heard about the concept of an email. You can actually pay a little bit and send a message, personal message, to somebody on LinkedIn that you're not connected to. Now, LinkedIn doesn't talk much about this because they're not so happy that everybody's using it, because it would be a kind of a mayhem for everybody on LinkedIn. But there is actually a function in their marketing platform where you can send anybody a message on LinkedIn, how many as you like, but you have to pay for it, of course. But just imagine what happens when you can send a nice and friendly opening message to exactly the managers on exactly the companies that you want to speak to. Tell them why you want contact with them, give a link to your webpage, and please ask them to respond if they're interested to talk about this. And that campaign, you can put 20 euros a day, 100 euros a day, 1,000 euros a day. You can put as much money as you like and reach out to hundreds or more than hundreds, thousands of people per day with a personal message until you see how many of them actually answers. When we do this with clients, it's very different, of course. Some people have to send out 100 text messages before one answer. Some of our cases have 50% of the people who receives the message, they click and have a look at the web page, and maybe around 10-15% of them actually answers that they're interested to have a talk. So you don't know exactly how it's going to turn out for you until you try. But this is the way to cold call nowadays. And what happens is that if you spend enough money and do this right on LinkedIn, you will get automatically, without doing anything yourself, you will get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or how many leads you like, depending on how much money you're spending. And you can calculate the exact cost of those leads and see the conversion rate after you've done your sales process with them. And for me, this is, to business clients, this is my standard advice nowadays. Start doing that. Don't have paid salespeople or your own time trying to cold call and get somebody to speak to. It is not efficient, and it's expensive, and it's slow. Because you actually need to do the same thing. It's just that in this case, if you use LinkedIn like this, then you don't have to do it. Nobody has to do it. LinkedIn is doing it automatically. So that's because then the whole situation changes, because then we can start to think, instead of something else, we can start to think that okay, now I get 5 leads per day, and this is people who've seen my text on the message, they click to the web page, they signed up the form, or they contacted me with an email that they are interested to speak to me about this. I mean, that's a totally different world to sell in. You skip the problems of how to pitch in the phone so somebody says yes to a meeting. Many of these difficult sales steps, you have skipped them. You don't have to do them. And we all know that if we call and we talk to 10 people why we want to meet them, I think we can say we are lucky if one of them say yes to a meeting just right now, right? Because either they're not interested at all, or they maybe are interested, but it's the wrong timing. Call me next year, call me after summer. You know, there's always something going on. So I don't think nobody's counting with more than 10% hit rate on cold calling when it comes to booking meetings for a business-to-business sales process. But what if we could take away all that? That changes the whole game, because suddenly you can say, well, now we're going to employ one salesperson, and we're going to give that salesperson, through the LinkedIn marketing process we have running, we're going to give that salesperson 5 new leads every day to hunt up, call, book a meeting with, go out and have a meeting. What a difference. Instead of saying, now we're going to employ a salesperson, give them the phone book, and let's see what happens. Which was the olden days. How to do it. And I recommend every business-to-business selling company to spend the majority of their marketing budget to do that, if they have salespeople that they want to get in touch personally with managers. Everything else is extremely slow. Then there's another thing. The problem with that process is that maybe exactly those clients that you want to speak to, they don't answer you. Does somebody else do? And yeah, fine, that's cool. We got them as clients, but we didn't get those ones as clients that we wanted. And if you have that specific interest to hunt down and catch a few specific clients, well, then you are stuck with the old process. Now, if you think about that process that you actually want to target, let's say you take out a list of, this is the 500 most wanted clients for us. And now we have to have somebody contacting them, talking to all the managers, booking meetings, putting it in a CRM system, keeping track. Everybody who says, call me back then and then, let's not forget about them. And you come to a point where you start to think, well, that's a lot of work, isn't it? It's a lot of work. It's always been a lot of work to work with proactive sales. It's a handcraft. And if you want it to be done right, there should be actually a specific person to do that. I have been advising so many of the companies I've been working with to employ a sales assistant. A sales assistant can be the most important person for your growth. That's the person who do all those proactive calls, who book meetings for you or for the consultant or the salesperson, who makes sure that everything is super correct in the CRM system, who makes sure that everybody who didn't want to speak to us right now get an email every month about something interesting, and suddenly the interest comes back. Somebody who really works with lead generation and booking meetings in a serious way. This has been, for many of the companies I work with, even small companies, even one-man companies, have decided to employ a sales assistant, and it didn't take long until they were fully booked. Because if we don't have a very serious lead generation going in the company, and if we don't have enough control over all the people that we are talking to and when we are supposed to call back and all that, and if we are not in contact with enough volume of people, we will not reach our sales results. We are grasping in the dark otherwise. So my 2 absolute top suggestions to everybody I speak to is A, get your lead generation going on LinkedIn. B, if you don't have staff already to use for it, appoint a person, new person or existing person in your company to be lead manager in your company, because that can be the solution to all your growth you're looking for. And this is B2B companies, of course. Shall I stop there and let you guys from the B2B world comment on these two things.
So Isabel here, I can comment
Yeah.
from our side. I think we are later in that stage, so we do have like an entire marketing team, but I do agree with you, working with like kind of those LinkedIn or other social media is definitely worth it, but also collaborate with kind of other partners to reach out to their potential customers, and collaboration and webinars together. So they are, and that is what we also had. What we needed to do, we needed to be more innovative, since we didn't want to spend too much of the money during this kind of period. But you also need to own the digital arena if somebody starts to Google for you, because we know that a lot of people is searching for information prior to they actually taking a decision. So you need to have like relevant content and information, and also be some kind of a thought leader into the different areas. But I do think that a little bit depends on the kind of business you have as well.
Absolutely, and the kind of resources you have, because what you're talking about means that you should have some competent people doing these things, and in the right way. Otherwise, you make a little bit of a fool out of yourself, maybe on the digital arena. Plus, you have to have the time and everything to do that. So, in my book, what you are talking about is a little bit like the next step of when you have this under control, then you can add that as well. If you have the time and money to do that, and excel a little bit over.
Completely agree. Completely agree.
The basic sales that you actually need. You know what I mean?
Yeah, completely agree.
Charlie, comments?
I'm mulling. I think the points around LinkedIn, I have a split reaction to. One is, it's a great way to not waste your time on sales, manual sales related activities. That makes a lot of sense. The challenge we have with a lot of our work, the CEO of large companies are our main client. They're our purchasing person who makes the decision. And we find with our value proposition, it's a belief-based sale. They're not buying a product, they're buying help. And in order to do that, you've got to articulate for them something they probably haven't articulated clearly in terms of what help they need. And ultimately, they need to trust us that we're the right people to help them, which is often based on referenceability from their peer group and credibility building, which means we get most of our business through either repeat client work or referrals. So the direct LinkedIn engine approach is, I'm just mulling this through, because there may even be a downside if people hear about us with essentially a cold call strategy. I wonder whether that might inadvertently be damaging for our brand. The point around the sales admin, I'm fully in favor of. We haven't done that yet. We tried and failed to hire BD managers and marketing managers last year. We hired 2 over the last course of 2 years, and neither of them worked. We tried to get an external help with an external sort of marketing manager for hire last year. That didn't work. So we are trying to solve this problem. But I don't know, I'm mulling. I'd like to hear other people's experience around this. It's very interesting, but very relevant for me.
I also have to excuse myself again now, because I'm struggling not to say, don't worry, Charlie, we can help you with that. But I'm not going to say that, but I'm struggling with it, because I would like to say that. Because there's a lot of people saying like you, because most people haven't tried to do this correctly, what I'm talking about. And you can make small tests and see how it works for you. You can even exclude all the clients you don't want to disturb with the test either. You can really be very specific with who you send this kind of personal invitation to a dialogue to. And
why would we need help for that with that? Because most people are competent LinkedIn users. We know how to segment our client base. We do have a pretty good database of at least people who know us. Why would we need to spend money on external help for that?
No, I didn't say that.
Yes, you did.
No, I said we can help you with it.
Okay. Oh, great. So you work for free. Is this the latest sales tactic? You work for free?
No, but we know how these things works. And I've been doing this in almost 200 client projects now. And there are big differences how you're supposed to do this to get the result you want without damaging your reputation. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
And my wish in the world is that everybody try to do this over LinkedIn the right way instead of the wrong way, because it's the effect difference is enormous.
It's very easy to do it the wrong way. I think that's my
yes. Yes, this is correct. And that's why you need a little bit of help how to do it so you don't, again, like Isabel's, you can make a fool out of yourself making a bad digital material and shoot it out, and you can make a fool out of yourself sending a personal text as well. You can also make a fool out of yourself in a cold call. So all these processes are delicate, and we know it, and we don't want to damage our reputation when we are approaching new clients. We don't. But we also want to get a result out of it. We can't just be nice and polite and nobody wants to see us either. You know? So the balancing act is always there. How aggressive do we dare to be? How proactive do we dare to be? What I do know is that if you have a system that costs you maybe €1,000 a month, and you know that it's going to give you 20 good new client meetings a month, for that cost, well, then you know that. And knowing and having control of how many new clients you get to meet every month is the basis of knowing how am I going to build my growth in this company, instead of being victim of circumstances. So, but the perfect world doesn't exist when you come to lead generation. The perfect world, you can never have it. But you can have 20 good leads coming in. Maybe not exactly from the companies you want, maybe not exactly from the manager you want to speak to, but they're coming in and you can meet them and you're in and you can start working with your sales process. And that can be better sometimes rather than trying to make it perfect and sit there with one client meeting per month or two. Gerard.
You see me thinking pretty much in Charlie's direction. And that is, however, my question is very specific. We have started putting content on LinkedIn, and I just learned that's maybe not the optimal we could have done. So we increased our network dramatically over the last months. Yes, indeed. So good thing about this in-mail, which we haven't tried yet. Now, specifically, what would you recommend? Having more generic description of our capabilities, or a more, this is what we have to offer, like a clear sales pitch? What would you say? Because I heard in the past different opinions. Some people speaking about the so-called captivating one-liner, where you're not even trying to sell anything. You're just giving reference and say, hey, look what great things we have accomplished. So that would be one question. And the second one, also pertaining to what Charlie mentioned, having this sales assistant, how can you ensure that this person knows all the bits and details and relevant things that they need to know in order to be of relevance to their contact partner? So,
okay, I will start with the second question, because what we normally help our clients to do is to separate the sales process. This segment can be done by such a person. This segment of the sales process needs to be done by such a person, and so on. You can actually normally divide the sales process in a business-to-business company in 3 different segments, where 3 different people can do those 3 jobs and hand over between each other. And the clients think it's totally fine. Many people say, well, no, the client has to have contact with the same person all the time. So, no. They don't need that.
Okay.
And then think about it. Is it the right image? Let's say we have a manager a little bit high up in the company, and here calls a star consultant from this company asking, please, would you like to have a meeting with me? Is that the right image you want to put on from your company? So that's what your star consultants are doing. They're sitting there phone calling, trying to sell themselves to book a meeting with a client. It doesn't really make sense when you think about it like that. Maybe the assistant of the star consultant would be a better messenger in that conversation. Saying, hello, I'm so-and-so. I am the assistant of Mr. So-and-so or Miss So-and-so. And we have decided that we'd like to organize a meeting here between you 2 guys. then suddenly the client will, well, that's probably an important consultant because that consultant actually has an assistant. You know what I mean? And so lead generation is half of the work is communicating with the potential clients that you're in contact with, that you try to get to the table, and half of it is administration, email, answering, CRM notes, and blah, blah, blah. So there is no problem to go to any company who has a B2B sales process and dissect what parts of the sales process is actually better that an assistant do instead of the expensive salespeople or expensive consultants we have. And then we teach that person to do that. Then this handover situation start to happen. Because we know that in this part here with the lead generation, there's so many contacts who's not going to end up in a meeting now. Going on every day. 80% of the tasks here are with somebody who is not going to meet you today. Now, we shouldn't put that work on expensive consultant and expensive salespeople, that's for sure, in my opinion. Let's give the rest of the chain to the expensive salespeople and the expensive consultants. And then they can fill their calendar up with important tasks that only they can do, and with clients that already said to somebody else in the company that, yes, this sounds interesting, let's do it. And then you can optimize the performance of those people and how much they can generate for the company on a monthly, quarterly, yearly basis instead, and cover that cost of whatever LinkedIn campaigns you're doing or employing and paying the salary of an assistant is 3 to 6 months from you start. It will be more than well paid from the new sales you're generating. But it is an investment period, and that's why most people don't do it. It's incredible. I always said the most fascinating observation in my life as a sales expert helping others is that the will of investing in a perfect sales process is extremely low. We rather invest in other things. Fancy offices, for instance, is much more interesting, it seems like, than having a good sales process, right, for new acquisition of clients. And that maybe cost you 4,000 euros a month, including a full-time sales assistant, and suddenly the new meetings with new good clients are pouring in on a daily basis. And it takes maybe 3 months until all those meetings turns into money. Yes. So, okay, we need to invest 15,000 euros in having a perfect sales process, and because it takes 3 months until all that generates income to pay with. But isn't it worth it? Because then you have it, and you will always be there. Some people spend much more money on IT systems and administrating system and invoice systems than they spend on trying to get a sales system running in the company. So yeah, it is an investment, whatever you do, but through calculations, it becomes worth it. But it is an investment. You cannot get away from that. Some people think that sales is for free, but it's not.
Okay. Yeah, but splitting up the process, that's a cool idea. Yeah. Splitting up the process and make sure that the right people are doing the right part of it. Yeah.
I can tell you an example. There's a company called, it's a global company, IT consultants and service company for internet security called SoundGuard Availability Systems. I don't know if you heard about that. They're one of the largest private-owned IT companies in the world. They are not on the stock market. I was appointed to help the Swedish office in Stockholm. They had 8 salespeople, and the results were not good from these 8 salespeople. And then quickly, when we looked at what they were doing, we saw that they were out on 1.2 meetings per week, meeting clients. And everybody started to realize that can't be good, can it? So we set a new plan. Let's have them out on 5 meetings per week instead of 1.2 meetings per week. And of course, everybody was screaming, how can they do that? Oh, yeah, sure. Cold calling, it will take 3-4 hours to book 1 meeting, correct? So that means that these people can't do anything else than sitting cold calling, booking a meeting, going out and have it. And then what? What are they going to do with the rest of their time? So of course, so quickly we decided to separate the process, and they employed an assistant which didn't know anything about being a sales assistant, and we taught in 2 weeks how to do everything perfect. And suddenly this person was doing all the cold calling, and we started to do LinkedIn marketing, and they had a big database of all connections. We started to make monthly emails, and everything went into this sales assistant, and she made sure that what came to the salespeople were qualified meetings with clients that there was a point going to. Mm-hmm. And all the other ones she kept contact with. She put, okay, I call you back in 3 months. Okay, I call you back in 2 weeks. Okay, all that was handled by her. And all the leads coming in was checked with her that they were seriously interested in a meeting, and then went. So suddenly we made a feed to the salespeople. And of course, there was no problem to be on 5 meetings, because they were also supposed to start a book meeting with their old clients they haven't met for 3 years for some stupid reason. So we have to make a process of that as well. Come on, your existing clients are the best ambassadors you have. A, make sure they buy more. B, make sure they give you some of their friends, so you can use your existing clients as leads generating partner. So a combination of 3 new client meetings and 2 existing client meetings became the 5. And then we realized after a while we can actually speed it up, and we ended up with 10. And 2 of the salespeople quit because they hated this. They were very happy having 1.2 meetings per week, I tell you. Drinking coffee in the office and having nice lunches and stuff. So there were 6 people. Those 6 people, after 1 year, sold 3 times more than the 8 did before. And they had 1 assistant employed, 2 salespeople left, and spend a little bit of money on LinkedIn. Okay. But it took a year because their sales process was long. They were selling security systems for quite decently large clients, so they had 6 to 12 months closing process with every client.
Okay. Yeah.
So of course their investment period was a bit longer.
Which sounds quite familiar to our type of business. Yeah. Now to the first question, what would you recommend there? More the indirect method, or sending out, let's say, offers more or less? What would you recommend?
The only thing I can recommend on a first contact in phone, LinkedIn, an email, doesn't matter what it is. The first time you contact, hello, Mr. John. It's always a personal approach.
Okay.
It's never anything else. It's a personal approach, like you're talking to a friend.
Okay.
That is the only thing that really, really works. And this means that a text on LinkedIn, for instance, that we help because to compose the right text is super important, because otherwise you can spend all the money in the world and you have nobody answering. And that's when you know you're starting to destroy your brand, Charlie, when that happens. If you send out 200 messages and nobody answers, oh shit, stop. Something is wrong here. Because at least they should have answered, hi, Charlie, thank you for your message. No, but we're not interested for the moment, and maybe try again next year or something. You know what I mean? But if you have no answers, then you're really out in the bush. So a text goes like this, for instance. Hello, John, you can put, so you have the first name of the person automatically. So it's personal, it's being very easy in that sense, in these tools that LinkedIn have for this. And then you always say something like, my name is Peter Redrin. I am the CEO of this and this company. Hope you're having a great day, or something like that. Like you greet somebody in a personal way, nice and friendly. And then you say, our company are experts on this and this and this and this. And I would like to have a phone call or a video meeting or a personal meeting with you, just for us to get to know each other better and see if we can help you with any of these things that we are experts on.
Okay.
Best regards, Peter.
Okay.
Nothing.
Okay.
Something in those lines. Because what happens then, if you do it like that, you will not irritate anybody. If you come with a sales pitch, people will block you. That's the best way to make people dislike you. Give them a sales pitch. and use any marketing buzzwords? No, same thing there. Blah, block. I don't want to have any shit from this guy again. Personal, friendly. This is what we are good at. Please answer if you want to have contact with me about this. So it's a very soft pitch. But the reason for that is two. One, we don't want to destroy our brand. We don't want people to block us. Two, we only want the people who says, interesting, we are just thinking about this. This is in my mind right now. Because if any of the things that you can help them in are in their mind right now that they want to do something about, they will answer you. You don't have to oversell yourself. Because 98% of the success with a cold call or a cold text on LinkedIn like this is timing. Of course, the person you are contacting have to be in a situation where they instinctively feel that, yeah, exactly these kind of guys. I would like to meet one of those right now. Because we have this pain, we have this situation, this coming up. Otherwise, we know what they're going to answer. They say, listen, I don't have time right now. Call me back next year. Yeah, maybe, but no. Because maybe they have the biggest problem in the world, but they don't want help with it. So the timing is wrong for the conversation. What happens when you send a big amount of messages out like this is that the people who answers are, of course, super hot leads. They responded on a soft pitch and they are interested to talk to you. They cannot get better than that. You haven't oversold them. You haven't promised anything you can't keep, nothing, and you haven't destroyed your brand because it was a nice, friendly text. In my mind, the phone conversation should be the same if you cold call. Because at least you didn't break anything. You didn't do anything bad.
Peter, I'm getting once in a while, I'm getting, especially from Asia, I'm getting sometimes offers for products because they see that I'm in electronic business as well. So they send me, and they even sent me data sheets. Would you agree that's slightly over the top, or?
Well, let's say like this, how many of them have you answered?
Yeah, okay, good answer. Yeah, that's
that's like, no, that's not the first, because, you know, business between two people start with the people, doesn't it? Hello, my name is John. How are you? Oh, hi, John. My name is Peter. How are you doing? Yeah, great, fine. This is a great conference, isn't it? Yeah, it's a great conference. Yeah, blah, 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 or wherever you met. You know what I mean?
Okay,
think about how do you communicate with a person when you meet them personally in physical life?
So doing the small talk.
We have to act exactly the same when we send people an email or when we send them a phone call or a text. It doesn't matter. Just try to recreate that nice, friendly atmosphere that you want when you shake hands with somebody the first time you see them. And keep that going, you know, because then you're always welcome back. You're always welcome to call back. You're always welcome to send a new text. No problem. Super, super important.
Okay.
And instead, do it in bigger volume. You know, I see companies. They spend maybe a year and they spoke to 200 clients during a year. And then I asked them, so that's all your clients. You have 200 potential clients. And if you don't get them, then your company is ready to close. Is that correct? No, they say, of course not. No, there's plenty more. Okay, so why haven't you spoken to them then? Oh, we never had time. Yeah, sure, because you were cold calling on 200 clients. You should have sent maybe 10,000 messages on LinkedIn and got 200 responses from interested clients and talk to them. That would have been a better idea. So volume of contacts, creating incoming requests that you can turn into business instead of trying to do this whole chain manually yourself. That's the biggest way to success in any, I would say, business to business selling company.
Sir, can I ask you quickly?
Yeah.
Two questions around that. First, when you send a message to a specific person, would you send a message and would you also request a connection, or would you just leave it at the message? And the second question.
Yeah. Second question
was, if you don't receive a response, would you resend? Would you contact the person again, and if so, after what time? In general terms.
Okay. Well, these two questions is both solved actually in the marketing tool that LinkedIn has for this. So you don't do this manually, you see. What you do is that you go into the marketing tool, you set what city or country or geographical area you want to target people in, and then you find their titles, and you know that now the geographical area is correct, the titles are correct, and then in the right-hand corner it will say like, yeah, 48,692 managers. Whoa, that means that is the number of my potential clients. There's over 46,000 managers out there in my market that can buy something from me. That's an interesting number to find out, only that. Because then you start to rethink how your sales process should work. So there we go. And now we are sitting here, we are moments until you actually can send a message to all of them, a private message on LinkedIn. You click the button that you want to send a private message, then you compose your message and everything is right. And then you click the start campaign button, and then you have to wait for a number of hours for them to manually check your ad so it's not porn or something bad. So they have a manual. I don't know how many thousands of people are sitting manually testing all these messages for LinkedIn, but anyway, they do that manually. And then they activate it. And then that machinery is starting to shoot out messages to these people when they are logged in only.
Oh, interesting.
And you don't have a clue who of these people are getting it. So there's no chance you can connect with them, because LinkedIn is not going to give you this information. It's GDPR rules, you know. So suddenly what's going to start happening is that you get answers from people among these 46,000 something who's actually answering you. And then you just have to know that that is actually from my campaign. And the method they do this with is that they send the message when these persons are logged in, and then they don't send the message to that person until 60 days has passed. So after 60 days, the same person that is in your campaign can actually get your message again if they didn't answer. When they answer, you go into the campaign and you put in the email address of that person and both block that person, and then that person will never get the text again. Otherwise, it becomes a bit funny, you know, when
sure.
I answered your message, now we are talking to each other, or even bite something for you, and then now you send the same message again. It becomes a bit ridiculous. So that's how these platforms on LinkedIn works. So both those questions is answered by, it's all automatic. And no, you cannot. But what happens is that you are going to get a lot of requests to connect from this campaign, because when they get your text, they're going to click on your profile to see who you are before they answer, and then they're going to ask you to connect with them. So actually, it's the other way around, that the people who are interested in this will actually connect with you.
That's very interesting. I wasn't aware of that tool.
Sorry?
I wasn't aware of that tool, actually.
Yeah.
In the past, I would done that very low volume and manually.
So so to try this kind of marketing tool on LinkedIn is something I really, really recommend. You go up to the right side of your LinkedIn screen, and there's a button looking like a dartboard saying marketing or ads or something like that. You click there, and then you find everything there. And if you need help setting it up, you can just contact me.
Okay. And then you talk about the content, which you don't think it's particularly useful. But I always expected that if you send a message to someone, that someone will come to your profile, and if your profile is strong enough, then they may decide to respond. Now, the profile will be strong enough partially because there is some activity. Don't you see it like that?
I actually think my personal experience about marketing through this kind of campaigns is that the profile is less important. Because the message you send them are more important than your profile. But of course, you should have a nice picture of yourself. You should have some history. I mean, you have a normal LinkedIn profile with a little bit story about yourself and whatever you can put there that gives you some credibility, but you don't have to overdo that. You don't have to overstate because now they are more focused on the message you send them. If the message is right and your profile looks okay, they will answer. If the message is wrong, they will delete it and they will probably block you because they don't want to have that kind of message. But if the message is right and your profile is okay, if the message is wrong and your profile is great, same thing, doesn't matter. They won't respond. The message have to be right. That's where they quickly decide if they want to have connection with you or not. Normally. I have a meeting who just entered my office room. So we have to break now, guys. But you know how to find me through the platform of GBO. You can find me there. My phone number and email is there. So if you want to discuss anything else, just take a personal contact with me, okay?
Yeah, sure. It was a nice meeting. So see you again. Yeah, have a nice meeting. Bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you very much, Peter.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
Good morning.
Hey, hello. I am stressed. Well, I have too much to do. It's very irritating. You know, again, I don't get stressed of the things I have to do. I get stressed of the simple fact that I think I have too much to do and I don't like it.
Yeah. So first one thing, second another thing.
Yeah. I want to have half my calendar booked with things and half to do whatever I want. Then I'm happy. Because I work during those hours as well. But then I can choose what I do with those hours. When you have a fucking fully booked calendar, you can't even choose. And I have not closed the meetings. Maybe I should close the meeting.